funny. Greetings to the Geek Clan. I am with Dojo Dan. Yes, that's you. That's gonna be officially you. That's it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. And I am
I
Grim
worked in
Lock.
bars long enough as a bouncer. I've been called way worse than Dojo Dan,
Oh,
so that's actually
yeah.
kind of nice.
Oh, okay. Well, you're officially Dojo Dan.
Surprised
So.
it's not Daniel's son to go in sync with what we're all talking about. That's like my official nickname
Well,
since I've been a kid.
yeah. Well, eventually we'll be talking about different subjects besides Cobra Kai. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So, but for now, we're talking about Cobra Kai, season 3. I thought it was awesome.
I thought it was fantastic. I thought some of the critics
God.
were a little rough, and there was like a bunch of online talk about how, it did such injustice. And I'm sitting there
How
thinking,
did it
what
do
were they watching?
injustice?
What were they watching?
How did they do justice? Okay, if anybody, this is gonna be spoilers. Deal with it because
we're talking about spoilers, and I'm maybe going to talk about maybe what I think could take place in season 4 if I haven't already.
So one of the things I did like is they did bring a lot of nostalgia from the original movies into it, but they flowed it nicely. It wasn't like Mandalorian that just seemed to be like pushing nostalgia in your face for no reason.
I still love the Mandalorian.
I know you do,
He
but you understand what I'm
nasty.
talking about, right?
Yeah, I get it.
And I thought it was very nice how they flowed in old characters.
They've done a great job.
And the storytelling is just simply amazing, and it just gets better and better.
Yep.
So, and one of the things that we were talking about, remember we were talking about Kreese?
Yes.
And about the, Vietnam veteran era and da-da-da-da.
Yep.
They actually showed that
I thought that was important because there was, like, hints dropped, and especially, like, the third Karate Kid with regards to how he and Terry Silva came up with the whole Cobra Kai thing and their story. And this, like, actually, by the end, had shown what had taken place. And,
He was a nice guy in the beginning. He was a really nice guy.
Yep.
And then, just a bunch of crap just happens. And,
oh, yeah.
but you see, like, from the bully and the CEO, like, that's how his personality is now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the no mercy tough guy, whatever. Yep. It's kind of like he kind of evolved into those two different personalities that he dealt with. And I thought it was really good. Also, you see Johnny is struggling a lot.
Johnny's battling his demons, but I think he's getting somewhere with it.
Yes, he is.
He's getting resolve in certain issues, and I think that's worked out well. I love how they worked Allie into it. And
Allie,
I love the fact that he did not screw up a good thing going because he's kind of finally hooked up with Miguel's mom.
Yes.
Long time in waiting.
Yeah.
Long time in waiting. It's like, dude, don't trash that.
It was funny that she was like the mediator between Daniel and Johnny.
Yeah, she kind of always was.
And then she's like, no, this is what really happened. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
That was funny.
And you see how their like egos just shrank completely.
Yeah. Big time.
And there's a lot of young development in here with the younger characters also.
Yep.
Because of what happened last season with the whole...
I was going to say, seeing some of the stuff that went on in this season, you kind of sit back and you're like, okay, hold up. This is definitely a TV show because there'd be like tons of cops involved right now. If you go into someone's house and have an all-out brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, yeah.
The fight scenes are good, though.
The fight scenes are good, but like you said, the cops would be involved.
Oh, big time.
But you see how Kreese like manipulated the situation a lot.
Completely.
So this is why
it's what he's good at.
And it's funny that he got rid of like all the nerds that were originally in there, and now the stronger bullies are in the Cobra Kai.
Yep, and you've got all of what he would consider to be the weaker students are over at LaRusso's.
But no, they're both. There's the
mix.
There's the mix, and it's kind of like the yin and yang because that's what I see the symbolism in. Because you see Johnny's wearing black, and Daniel's wearing white, and they're both two sides of the yin and yang.
Yeah.
With Kreese, is just no balance.
No.
There's no balance in his thing, and his son going on to Cobra Kai was
Yeah.
That's the whole manipulating the system. He's so evil with his like manipulation of people.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just like he took on Johnny, manipulated him, then he manipulated the girl, and all this
Tori.
other stuff. Yeah, Tori, you know.
So it looks like we might actually get to see Terry Silva.
Yes.
In the 4th season, and that would be cool because I haven't seen Thomas Ian Griffith. I think his name is Thomas Ian something or other.
Well, they
but I haven't seen that particular
hit.
actor doing a bunch of stuff in a while. He is, a pretty good martial arts movie star from back in like the
80s,
late 90s.
Oh, late 90s.
Yeah, late 90s. You saw him around in some stuff.
But they're doing like all the old. They've hit like every single movie through the franchise with all the characters, and it was great seeing him saying, "Oh, you think you know what Mr. Miyagi's dojo is all about?" Blah blah blah, and then the whole death.
Yeah.
It went. I waited for 30 years to do this to you. I was like, "Oh my god."
Yep. The one thing that I have my speculations on, I'm curious if they're going to work Terry in to be like Miguel's dad. Only from the standpoint that he did a lot of dumping business. If we remember in the 3rd one, he was doing a lot of illegal dumping business, and I think he was sending stuff down to Mexico.
Yeah.
And I remember Miguel's mom referencing the fact that his dad was a really bad guy. And he was pretty much a douchebag. So that would be an interesting plot twist.
Yeah.
My wife is convinced it could be like Tori's dad. My son's like, what if it's both? I'm just like, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Way to go.
Wow.
Way to go.
Wow.
But you never know. Like, let's see if that transpires. Because that would really, like, throw something in, because you've got like the different kids on the different sides, and to me that would just like screw things up perfectly for a show like that.
Screwing everything up.
Oh yeah,
anything that would go wrong.
Yeah, that would be a perfect.
Finally, you see like Johnny and Danny just get together at the end, and it's like there's a bigger evil out there.
Yeah.
Because like Cobra Kai is basically taking control of the whole town.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah. And they actually like, you know what? There's a greater evil out there, and we need to work our differences and stuff. Now let's talk about Miguel. Miguel's story, like it's like a tribute to Bruce Lee, kinda, because Bruce Lee had his back injured like that. Also,
I never actually
saw that,
made that reference, and now that you're kind of sitting back, I'm like, hey, you know what? That's kind of cool. I like your thought on that.
And you see
could
him
be a
like
little homage right there.
Yeah, it could be a little homage, but I don't know if the writers were going to go do that. But Bruce Lee overcame that.
Yep.
And started walking, whatever. And it was good, and like seeing Twisted Sister was amazing. He's like,
oh, that was great.
He's like, what are you doing? Oh my god! And he's going.
I was gonna say one of the scenes I loved was when they were debating about having the All Valley tournament.
And you had 3 of them there.
Yeah, and just how they were horrific until, was it Miguel who came up
and the kids were like,
said what he said, and it ended up happening.
Yeah, and you know what? That reference reminded me of Footloose. That reference when the kid comes in and he's like, you know what? This is our time. This is our stuff. We need to do this. This is what we want to do.
Yep.
And it's not about whatever, And we want to show how it is. And I saw that reference there too. So there was a lot of Easter eggs in the series.
Tons of Easter
I didn't even know like half of them I saw, but I did see that reference come in, and you see like friends are becoming friends again. You know what I'm saying? Like Hawk is becoming friends with the other guys, and
I like the Hawk character.
Yes, he's evolved a lot too. And
so, question: what was your favorite episode?
I don't know if I had one.
I had to go with Okinawa.
Oh yes, Okinawa.
And to me, the reason that Okinawa episode was so good was they brought every major character from it, with exception to Sato. You know, you had Yukie, and you had the girl that Daniel saved. And then enter Chozen. And to me, the part that was so cool about the Chozen character is the fact that they are actually martial arts brothers because they trained in the same family art.
Yeah.
Miyagi's father was Miyagi and Sato's instructor. Sato's nephew is Chozen. Daniel is the student, so it's the two students from two different sides. And how he's looking at him, he's like, you haven't learned all the techniques. You only learned a portion. We have all the other stuff here, and he ended up giving him...
And it's like, this is how you defend the island and whatever. And it was like...
It was cool because he was getting a further lesson in the art that he had studied, but from a nemesis of his, but who was actually just a brother, and if anything, they were banging heads because they were from two different sides of the same school. So there's your balance again.
Yeah, the balance, and the thing was... he was a talker in the second movie, and this one he's just dead silent. Like he's reserved, like he's like evolved into this better person or whatever, and it shows. And I do like I liked the tearjerker was when they were reading the letters.
Yep.
And it was like saying that Daniel was like a son or whatever to Mr. Miyagi, and that was just very heart-filled, and it was like, wow.
Yeah, that was cool. It was real cool.
It was so these writers.
You can see that. You go back and you watch the first movies, and you can see how he was like that father figure, and that was his son, given the fact that his kid died during childbirth.
Yeah, and he didn't have that and there's like this strong like bond between them, and it was just so you just see because Daniel has been getting a lot of crap kicked out of him too, like a lot. You know, like he was about to lose his business. All this other stuff was going on because of the publicity with, the kids and stuff like that. And you see him, like, rising from the frickin' dirt, too. So it's like him and Johnny are both rising from these ashes of defeat and whatever. Mm-hmm. And Johnny had a lot of psychological things happen to him because of this, because of what happened to Miguel. You know?
Yeah, totally.
Cause
sense of responsibility.
And he's like putting on the lab coat, and he's like, "You don't look like a doctor." And he goes in by banging his head or whatever, and it was very strong, very strong episode. So, what do you think for the next? The fight scenes were awesome too. Like,
I'm not sure what direction. I'm figuring it's going to be more about hopefully Johnny and Daniel coming to terms with
each
who
other.
They are, and I think
they're gonna make a dojo together.
I don't know if it would end like that. I'm wondering. To me, the fourth season, this one here could potentially be the last in my mind.
Which I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
I'm okay if they don't even visit like the whole next Karate Kid thing.
With the girl.
Well, Hilary Swank, that was her character. She was cool. Just a different story.
Totally different story. Like, you don't even mention, like...
Yeah, no. There was no mention.
It was a totally different thing, so...
Yeah.
So, I don't know if they would do that, but,
I'm not sure. I'm thinking they may not, only for the fact that... I don't know, it was too different a story, plus...
Yeah. There was no connection. There was no, like... Only Mr. Miyagi. If there was, like, a little connection, like...
No, story had it that Ralph Macchio was blackballed from Hollywood after the third Karate Kid
because he thought he was the biggest, baddest thing in the world.
Well, no, it was
what
also,
I heard.
Yeah, and it was from knowing some people who did the stunt work on the fourth Karate Kid. They had heard from set people that Ralph Macchio had demanded more money because the movie ran out of time. And they were overtime, and I guess they had to film for like maybe another week, or whatever the term was.
It was,
and he was the only person who demanded more money on his contract because his contract had expired. Everyone else was cool with just getting the filming done, but he wanted more money because he thought he was the hot stuff. And they basically told him it's the last time you work in Hollywood. And if you look at like the timeline for him, if I'm not mistaken, I think My Cousin Vinny was his movie he did after that, he was in it for a tiny part, and he never did anything ever again until this came up.
Yep.
And this was all funded by them, so I'm not sure if that,
Maybe him as a person actually evolved too.
It's possible.
Yeah, because Daniel was kind of an arrogant guy too.
Hugely. I mean, the kid had an ego that was incredible.
He's like, and he started all this crap and stuff like that. And so I expect great things. The writing is really good, and like I said, they do it with class, with the nostalgia. They don't shove it. Like recently, I see a lot of people just shoving nostalgia in it for no reason.
Oh yeah.
Just to put the nostalgia
just for the sake of it.
And there's no storytelling to it.
Yeah.
So I like to see the stories unfold better and stuff like that.
Yep.
So.
Gotta stay masked up.
Yeah.
Keep on ninja masks on.
Yeah. Watch out for ninjas.
So, speaking of which, I have ninjas that are starting to come in. So.
Yeah, we'll have to. Before we go, I want to say great job. I heard you were first place on what tournament did you get first place on?
This one here was a Northeast Regional Championship. It's a pre-qualifier for some of the other tournaments that come up. It was cool to see different people competing. I got to represent USA and took first place in men's black belt 3rd and 4th degree forms. So that was cool. It was very cool.
Well, we're very honored to hear that, and
haven't competed in a long time. Jump in and do a virtual, and
there will be more awesome stuff coming from you, Dan. Dojo Dan, we know this.
No, we've been getting busy. So, like, if you've got kids, adult, you want to come down, train, learn self-defense. We do work with sport aspect, but most of what we particularly train in is just street defense and
wisdom,
being a good person, being kind, because that'll keep you out of a lot of trouble.
Yep, it gives out a lot of wisdom.
When anything does happen, you know how to have a better chance of taking care of yourself than most. So
thank you for joining this video.
Yeah, and thanks for coming down and doing it again.
Oh well, we'll be talking about
Cobra
something.
Kai. Cobra Kai is the greatest marketing tool in the world for Christ.
I know.
Coming out of COVID,
because all my buddies were talking about joining. Like my Chuckles the Clown is doing in martial arts now, and somebody else is doing. I'm like, now we do have an idea, a project that's coming down the line, guys. So
and my name is Daniel, so
stay tuned for that.
That's it.
All right, so thank you for watching our video, and we'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy your day.
Peace.